Have you ever had your car start acting like it has a mind of its own, where the transmission refuses to shift into sport mode or the speedometer just starts dancing around for no reason? If so, you might be looking at a P06I6 code, which is basically your car telling you that the 5-volt reference signal for a group of sensors has gone completely haywire. This code is a bit of an umbrella term because it applies to any sensor the manufacturer has labeled as sensor I, which is usually tied into the drivetrain like the automatic transmission, the transfer case, or the differentials. Think of this reference voltage like the power grid for a small neighborhood. If the main line goes down, every house on the street goes dark. The Pi-CM sends out a very precise 5-volt signal to these sensors so they can measure things like pressure, temperature, or speed. If that voltage is out of range or the performance of the circuit is dragging, the computer can no longer trust anything those sensors are saying. This leads to all sorts of weird behavior like the car failing to switch between 2-wheel and 4-wheel drive or the transmission staying in economy mode no matter how hard you floor it. If you see this code stored all by itself without any other sensor codes, there is a good chance you are looking at a programming error or a failing Pi-CM. However, most of the time you will see other codes along with it. You are going to need your trusty DVOM and maybe even a portable oscilloscope if you are dealing with an electromagnetic sensor. Start by checking for any blown fuses or bad power relays because a simple 10-cent fuse can sometimes trigger a $1,000 headache. Use your meter to check for that solid 5 volts at the sensor connector with the key on and the engine off. If the voltage is low, you have to start hunting for a short to ground or high resistance in the wiring harness. It is a tedious process of tracing wires, but you have to be careful not to test resistance with the controllers plugged in or you might blow the whole circuit. Check your chassis grounds too because a loose ground wire can cause all sorts of phantom voltage issues. Once you find that one pinched wire or corroded connector and get that reference voltage back to a steady 5 volts, all those drivetrain glitches should disappear and your car will feel like its old self again.